Hello, my pretty awkward fam. Welcome back to a Heart to Heart Friday episode. Man, I have been looking forward to just using this time as usual as my own personal diary. So thank you for tuning in. My husband, who is editing the podcast, he's been editing it for, I guess, since September last year of 2022. He said that we had a really big spike a couple episodes ago, and it was a heart to heart. I think it was the one about not attaching your worth to your income. And he said that had a huge spike. And just overall, I know you love the strategy. I know you love the Monday strategy or the interviews and all of that, but I also know you love the real, the raw, the behind the scenes, what's happening in real time. And I love giving it to you. I really sounds kind of dirty. I really, really do though. And the couples convos, I wanted to just say this because I had someone ask me about this. The couples convos episodes are going to continue, but they're going to be continuing on a different podcast. Mike and I are starting our own separate podcast called Meg and Mike Do Marriage. And our first episode will just be an intro, our story. And then we have an amazing interview lined up. One of my past mentors who I just adore. We recorded it about a month ago now, and it was a great episode. Her and her husband, both of whom I've met. Her I've met multiple times, but it was, we had me and Mike and her and her husband actually got together when I was in Florida. So the four of us have actually had dinner together, and it was just such a beautiful conversation. And so I'm really excited. That's going to be the first couples convo on that new podcast. So and the reason I decided to do that, and this kind of we'll just dive in. This is a good lesson on trusting that it's okay. It's okay to change things. Like, you can make a grandiose statement and do these things and put out new content and say, this is the plan. This is what I'm doing, guys. And then go, I've actually figured out a way to do it better. And so that's kind of what happened. Like, I knew I wanted to start diving into more of the relationship type discussions, not a relationship coach. Don't ever see myself being one, to be quite honest. It was more so just wanting to talk about it. We have had a huge journey, and I know we went through it for a reason, and we both love talking about it. We love helping people through it. We love just sharing our experience. And so we wanted a platform to do that, where I didn't feel like every single conversation had to tie back to business. And that's what I want this podcast to be, right? Like most of it. These Friday episodes obviously veer off a little bit, but it all works back because, gosh, as an entrepreneur, your life affects your business, affects your life, vice versa. It's all interconnected. It's a big circle. So I felt really good about the decision to go, you know what, I'm feeling a little too pressured to do that, and I want to have this separated. So on that podcast, we are going to continue the couples combos, which is specifically entrepreneurs. So we'll have a business angle in that sense. But we're going to kind of rotate between talking about how our marriage is affecting our business and vice versa, how we're managing that. We're going to dive deeper into the separation, what went into that. So there will be a lot of episodes that are purely about our relationship and how we're navigating even now through tough times. We've gone through a lot, and we're continuing to, and I'm going to share that in a sec, but we're excited to share that. We want to. Some of it will relate back to business, and some of it won't. And it'll just be like marriage talk. And I'm really pumped about it. So that'll be coming most likely in May. That's the plan. We might need to put it off for just a month. There's a lot going on in our personal life right now. And I promise you, as my podcast fan, will know the details first and foremost. I will give you all the information when I'm ready. But we've just got some stuff going on in my personal life with my family and my dad in particular. And so when I'm not working and prepping for my launch, I am with him every second, pretty much. My aunt was just here for about a week and a half, and man, she is a godsend. It was so incredible to have her here. She helped me a ton. And we've just been navigating a lot. He's an accountant. It's his busiest time, and he's had to let go of a lot of clients, and it was tearing him up. He loves his clients. It's how he makes his money also. So, just helping him through that and navigating all of this and trying to figure it out. And it's been a lot. But one thing that I can say is so apparent through all of this, and it just, honestly, it stems a lot from his life choices too, is how important self-care is. I hope I don't cry during this episode. Again, I'll share details when I'm ready. We're still finding new information out. And so I kind of just rather share when I feel like I have everything. But self-care and taking care of yourself, gosh, it is just so important. And when you're running a business and you have all these added pressures, and when you're running a business using social media and you feel like you've got to show up and all this stuff, like you have to take care of yourself. You have to. I don't care how much time you have in a day. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. You have to prioritize that. And I say that because, man, if I didn't have the discipline that I've built up from the years and years of doing this and the habits that I've built up that are pretty much non-negotiable, I don't know how I'd be like handling it all right now. I don't know. And I honestly feel pretty good right now as far as like my mental state, my emotional state. Of course, I have my moments, but overall, I feel really grounded. And it's not this feeling of I'm not dealing with my emotions. It's more so I'm definitely dealing with them and I'm working through them. But it's like I'm regulating. I'm going on my walks with Luna. That's why it's so great to have a dog. Going on my walks with Luna in the sunshine. And man, Vegas is like perfect right now. It's like 60, 65, 70. I'm enjoying this before it gets disgustingly hot in a few months, and I'm loving it. So we're working outside a lot, working out in the backyard. She loves sunbathing. It's adorable. She like sits in the sun for hours. It's so funny. She just loves it. And so work outside and go for a walk, get some sunshine and do my exercise. Like I'm 5 days a week. I'm getting that done and drinking my water and all these like things that are pretty simple, that of course, exercise, move your body, drink your water. It seems so like, duh, but man, is it easy to have that fall to the wayside when life's happening. And I haven't been able to do every single thing I want to do. Like I usually like to journal more. I usually like to read a little bit more. It is taking me so long to get through this first Crescent City book that I'm reading. And it's funny because I have a lot of Sarah J. Maas fans who follow me and listen to this podcast. And I would have been done with this book in one day if I had more time to. So I've been reading it slowly, probably like 4 nights a week. I'll read a chapter, maybe 2, which is good because I'm going to, enjoy it slower and all that. But normally, man, her books, I'll just spend a whole day on the weekend. That's all I'll do. And I love it. I'm excited for, when I can do that again. But right now we're just in a busy season and it is what it is. It's not forever. It's just a season. And I know that. And I think that's why I'm also grounded. But I've done a little bit less of that and stuff like that, but I'm so grateful for my self-care habits because it is saving me. It's what's keeping me grounded. I don't know what I would do without it. And again, even if like some days I didn't get a workout in, or I just got a 15-minute walk in instead of an hour that Luna and I usually like to do throughout the day, it's something, and I don't beat myself up. And that is so different from who I used to be. Especially in my health, back in my fitness days, when I was ironically a health coach, I was probably the most unhealthy I ever was as far as my balance goes. It was all or nothing. It was like, I'm either eating 100% clean, no alcohol, working out every single day, twice a day, or I'm letting it all go. I'm not working out. I'm not walking. I'm eating crap. I'm drinking a lot. Like it was so all or nothing. And I feel like I have established this beautiful balance and this beautiful relationship with food and my body and my self-care. And I truly do all these things. I fuel my body with nutritious foods 80% of the time. I know that's like a cliche 80-20 rule, but it's kind of true for me, at least. 80% of the time I drink a lot of water. My dad's always amazed by how much water I drink. I drink a lot of water. I walk every day. I do my exercise, and I truly do it because it makes me feel so much better inside. It makes my mood so much better. Like I didn't ever think I'd get to this point where I am doing these things to feel good, not truly to look a certain way. And it's been that way for a while. And it's just like the most freeing feeling. And all of this, what's been going on with my dad's health and what's been going on just with everything. I was telling one of my private clients, I was saying my mission to help her and all of the coaches that I coach who are health coaches, or I have a lot of business coaches that I coach that specify in helping health and fitness coaches. So it's that ripple effect. My mission to help them is so much stronger now because, man, is your work needed? Because so much of what my dad is experiencing is from years and years and years of unhealthy habits, and it's caught up to him. And now he's a little bit older. My parents had me older. They had me at 39, 30. My dad was 38. So he's 73. He'll be 74 this year. So he's a little bit older than a lot of my friends' parents. But I was at Orange Theory today, and there was a woman, had to be in her 70s, like had to be in her 70s, running right beside me. And I'm like, that's going to be me at 70. Like I'm determined. And honestly, everything that's going on with him, I'm like, it is just motivating me more to keep this up because I see firsthand what it does to someone and how all of these years, I mean, I'm 35, that he's been like this since I could remember, since I think I was like 4 or 5. That's when he started to really develop some unhealthy habits. And that's a lot of years, right? That's a lot of years and it's catching up. And I don't want to experience that. And I don't want my kids to. Like, I'm not going to lie, it sucks. It sucks seeing your parents struggle. It sucks seeing someone you love so much and you care so much about, like, suffer, it sucks. And you care about them and you love them and you're kind of angry at them because you're like, oh, I've been trying to help you with this forever. Why didn't you listen? But then you got to let that go and just love them and be there for them, and it also it's hard. It's just hard on yourself. It's hard to be a caregiver and a caretaker. And I'm so lucky that I have an incredible family. My aunt's amazing. My cousin's actually flying out now to help out. My husband's going to be home on Tuesday. He was gone for a week and he's going to help out so much. And so I'm so lucky that I have that, but it does feel like it's all on me in many ways because I'm his daughter. I'm his only kid. My siblings are half siblings. So, but man, my sister's also been incredible. She's a nurse and she's just been so helpful. So it's just been one of those like, it feels a lot on me, even though it's not all on me. And I know there's other people. I'm his daughter. I'm the one he wants there. I'm the one he comes to, we have a very, very close relationship. We've always been so, so close. And so it feels like a responsibility, but I also know my husband and I have talked about this. He's like, you have to take care of yourself. We're trying to make a baby. You have to take care of yourself. You can't not sleep. You can't, be stressed all the time. And so I am really doing my due diligence in that. And I got to say, my health coaches out there, you're doing the world a real service. You really, really are. And I hope if anything, this inspires you to keep going because man, are you needed. You are so, so needed. I can't even explain the ripple effect of the work you do on the client's family, on their friends, on the people in their lives. It's not just them. It affects everyone around them who cares about them. So the work you do is so important. I had to say that. I was like going on a rampage this morning talking to one of my clients about it. So gonna kind of switch gears, but something I wanted to read is I love James Clear. I get his emails every single week. They're his 3-2-1, the most important habit, the difference between, this is just I'm reading the subject line. So it's called the 3-2-1 Thursday. And basically he gives you, a habit, 3 ideas. Oh my gosh, Megan, get yourself together. 3 ideas, 2 quotes, and 1 question. And the quotes, a lot of the times, I don't know if all the time, I'm trying to remember, are usually from other people. And so one of the quotes I wanted to read, because I was like, damn, this got me. Tara Ploughman, and it's Ploughman, with an obvious but often ignored insight. And this is the quote: never offer what you'd hate someone for accepting. Never offer what you'd hate someone for accepting. And I don't know why, but that struck me. And I was like, man. And to me, it was almost like twofold. It was one, don't have like empty gestures or empty offers, right? Like if you say, oh, do you want me to do this? And you don't want them to say yes. And then they say yes. And then you're resentful, which is hard to do sometimes, but oh my gosh, I've been there, done that. And 2, it immediately made me think about like clients, like back in the day, especially more in the beginning stages. I really haven't experienced this in quite some time because I've been very specific about who I want to take on and the type of person I want to work with as far as their work ethic and their attitude and just their kindness and who they are, their values. I've been very, very vocal about my values. And so I haven't had an issue with this in a long time, but everyone's going to experience this in the beginning. I had some really tough, unaligned clients. Let's just put it that way. People that I was like, nope, this is not working, right? Like, this is just not my person, or they're just not ready for coaching. They're not being coachable. They're not trusting the process. They're not trusting your framework, all of that, right? They're trying to rush everything. And I know you're like shaking your head right now because you've experienced this. You might be experiencing this now. And it can be so freaking frustrating when you're going through that. And it can be so stressful when you feel like, man, I am doing everything I can to help this person. Like, I don't know what else I can do. And I feel like I'm being blamed and I know it's not my fault. Right. And we take it so personally and all of that. And that's the thing with coaching is we can't. We have to separate ourselves and not try to be the one to take credit, whether good or bad, right? We do not give our clients results. As coaches, if you're a done for you and there's certain parameters, yeah, maybe, right? Like maybe there's expectations on results and percentages and all that. But when you're a coach, you literally can't guarantee results because they're the ones implementing. Yeah, they might be implementing your suggestions and your plan, but at the end of the day, a good coach, really what they do is they're a guide and they help you make the best decisions. They're supposed to bring it out of you, right? And that's why I personally call myself a coach and a consultant, because yes, I do a lot of good coaching, but I do a lot of consulting too. I do a lot of here's the plan, go do it. I do a lot of that too. So it is kind of a mixture for me. But when I heard this, never offer what you'd hate someone for accepting, I thought of those early days when I knew a client wasn't right. And I took them anyway because of the money and the experience and wanting that, right? Wanting the money, needing the money, all of that. And man, it's like, oh, I don't want them to actually say yes, but I need this. So I'm going to just do anything I can to get them to say yes. Right. And then it ends up backfiring almost every single time. And I'm sure you've experienced that. And so I just wanted to leave that with you because it just struck me so much, is never offer what you'd hate someone for accepting. I feel like take that with you this week. I just felt really called to share that because it just hit me. I was like, ooh, that's a good one. So another thing I wanted to talk about is basically why I'm running this challenge. If you've been following me, you probably know, you're probably signed up. If you're not, what are you doing? It is taking place, gosh, this comes out on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days after you hear this episode. So if you're not signed up and you're listening to this when it's released, make sure you sign up. It's starting on April 10th. It's happening April 10th, 12th, 14th, all replays. So if you can't make it live, do not worry, still sign up. You'll get the replays. And I'm separating them. I'm not doing it in a row. I'm taking a day between each day so you can catch up, so you can do the homework. And while the homework, it's writing a story. It does take a little bit of creativity. So I really want people to have that space. So anyway, prepping for that. And I've been getting asked a lot because our actual enrollment numbers for this challenge, as I'm recording this on a Sunday. It comes out on a Friday. So the Sunday before, like 5 days before it comes out. And our numbers are higher than they have been in a long time for this enrollment. I'm like, okay, this is like hitting. And now we did start running ads, but we have a pretty low budget. We're not putting a lot of money into the ads at all compared to what we've done in the past. And I have no doubt it's because of, one, the topic, but two, it's the way that we're promoting it too. And we're promoting it a lot through story. But the way I came up with this, and I kind of wanted to just share this really quick because I just thought you'd find it interesting. But the way I came up with this topic was I actually did some data mining. And I really recommend you do this. So often we go into our week, our month, our quarter, our year, whatever it is, thinking we're starting over from scratch and at a clean slate. And man, that is so overwhelming. Sometimes it's exciting when you're like, I need a clean slate. But a lot of times it could be so overwhelming because you feel like, oh gosh, this is going to be such an uphill battle. But I try to never approach it from that lens because I have years of experience. I know you have years of experience, even if it's not necessarily business experience. If you're in your first few years, you're human, you've lived a life, right? Everyone here is most over 20. I'm thinking who are listening to this. You've lived at least 20 years, most of you who are listening. Maybe I have a couple people who are 18 listening, but most people have lived, right? And so just that in itself, you've done things right. You've had success in some ways, some areas. So try not to completely start from scratch every time. And so when I was approaching this, I said, okay, I want to do a challenge leading into my launch for SOSA. And I know I love challenges. They always convert really well for me. I am really great at running them. I thrive in them. I'm great at live video. I've been doing challenges literally since my Beachbody days. They've been like game changing for my business. But I didn't want to do the last one I did. I wanted to change it up. And I wanted to do something that would be really fun, like really, really fun for me to create the content, for the client to absorb, but not too overwhelming. And that's the key. It's like, if you make your stuff too overwhelming, people don't finish and they don't get that like, oh, I just got that win, right? And so you really want them to get that win as much as possible. And so the way I came up with this was I focused on what is the number one thing people ask me about. And hands down, when it comes to this ideal client, the client that I'm targeting for this, which is someone who's striving for those consistent 5K months, they're wanting to go full-time in their business. They want to quit their 9 to 5, have their coaching business or their service provider business be their only thing. That's it, fully supporting them. They want to know, how do I actually get clients directly from my content? Like, I make a post, people inquire. That's what I want. I'm spending all this time on content and I'm not seeing people come to me from it. I want people to go, I just read that post. I just watched that live. I just opened that email. I want to inquire about working with you, or I want to work with you. Right. And that is something I have done really, really well in the last 5 years, especially, but honestly, in the last 10, since I've started my first business, but especially in the last 5. And I was like, I'm pro at this. I know how to do this, but content, man, it's so broad. It's so like, where do you start? Right? There's so much. I mean, alone in my program, I break down 4 different types and we go in depth in each 4, and then we put it all together and then we help you craft a content plan. It's like, there's so many steps when it comes to really creating a content machine that can work for you on autopilot. Well, not autopilot. You got to create the content, but that's a little bit more predictable. Right? And so I was like, let me break this down. And so what I decided to do is I went back in time and I looked back at old posts, and I looked at posts that had the most saves, shares, likes, comments, and especially clicks to website. And I cross-referenced it with specific launches that had application-based. So the program that I'm launching, SOSA 2.0, so Smart Online Success Accelerator, used to be called CAU. That was the name of it. Client Attraction University, and it was application based for a period of time. And so I went during that time because I had some really amazing launches during that time. And I was like, let me go look at when we got the most applications. And I looked and I saw, okay, here's the most applications. And I went back to that time. Here's what I posted that exact day. And I kind of cross-referenced, when did we get the most applications and what post did we put out that day, or what email? I recommend you do this every launch. Honestly, maybe once a month. If you're ongoing selling, if you're evergreen selling, you're not doing launches necessarily, do this. Like, please do this. And so I did that. And what I found was over 50% was some type of story. And I say over 50 because I'm being conservative. It's probably actually like 70% or higher, if I'm being really honest. But it was wild how so much of that content was story based. I'm telling a story in some way, shape, or form. And I was like, man, there's something to this. There is something to this. And most of it was during open cart. And what I find is the education, the authority building, the expertise building, all of that happens before the launch. Once open cart, and I only ever really open cart for a week. I think like occasionally I'll do longer, but I've been doing a 1 week open close cart for years and years. For masterminds or things that have application, I might do a little longer, and it might be ongoing, especially if it's evergreen. But when it's like open close like this, it's usually a week. During that week, primarily my content is story-based. Even if I'm doing some kind of education or like helping link my offer and solution to their problem and why it's so important for them and why this is the solution they haven't tried, I still am usually doing it through a story. And that's because stories sell, facts tell. That is a cliche for a reason. And so that's how I came up with this challenge. I think that's why there's so many opt-ins. I think that's why people are so freaking pumped about it. It's not because, it seemed catchy. It's because I actually went back and looked at what worked. And I recommend you do that. Maybe it's going to spark your next free event or paid program or something. You just don't know what it's going to bring about. But if anything, it's just going to help you double down on what's working. You're going to go, okay, this has been working for me. Let me keep doing this. And I want to like shake everyone and go, please do this. Like, don't spend so much time wandering around and go, like, it's like you have a blindfold on and you're like, I don't know where I'm going. You actually have the data. Look at your insights. What is performing the best? What's getting the most traction? What brought in a client, 2 clients, 3 clients, whatever it is, what resonated most? And the clients that you've signed, ask them what resonated most. Why did they sign up with you? Was it a specific post? Was it a specific platform? Don't just guess, like get some data. And that way you can move forward more powerfully and really create content from that lens. You're creating content that you know has worked and you can double down on that. And then This is like all over, but I wrote down a couple of things I want to talk about because I was like, that's what these episodes are for. Um, total veer is Love is Blind. If you're not a reality show person and you're rolling your eyes now, I know I get it. I get it. It's ridiculous. But you know what? Now more than ever, when life is happening, oh, it makes me so happy because one, I don't generally have drama in my life. I'm not a dramatic person, even though I am in theater because I love theater. I'm a performer, but my normal life, I like to have as little drama as possible. And I am a performer and I am a Gemini and I am someone who likes that stuff, but I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be front and center. I'm like, nope, don't want the drama. But man, am I entertained by it. And I used to like so be on the other side of this fence. I was like anti reality. It's so stupid. It's such a waste of time. It's a waste of brain cells. It's so dumb. Like I really hated it. And then COVID happened and I was like, I'm bored. My husband and I, it was actually when he came to see my show and reunited in between our 6-month separation for 1 week. And then we separated again for 3 more months and then came back together. And during that week, it was a beautiful reunion. We had a great week together, actually. It's really what made us go, okay, I think we're going to be on the other side. We need a little bit more time apart. We started to watch The Bachelor and I was like, oh no, we're doing it. And I had a couple castmates. I was doing a show at the time who were obsessed with it and would always talk about it. And I was just like, oh, and I would like secretly roll my eyes in my head and kind of judge them a little bit. I'm just being honest right now. And then I was like, you know what, Megan, get off your high horse. Like, just try it. And man, I get the appeal. And like, you got to go into it with that. If it's bringing you any joy and it's not hurting anyone, go for it. Like that's like with anything, right? And I'm just like, stop being so judgy and see what it is. And now it seriously brings me so much joy and I'm just having a lot of fun with it. And so my latest obsession is Love is Blind. And this season, if you are watching this season, please DM me. I wonder if we share the same thoughts. I don't want to give anything away if anyone hasn't watched it. So I'm not going to say anything because if you haven't started it, I don't want to reveal who's who and all that, but there's some definite villains that they've painted. And then there's some people I just adore. And honestly, because of everything going on in my life, it has been a little pocket of like joy every night for like 30 minutes. I really don't have much time. So I read a little bit and I do 30 minutes, I'll watch it and then I'll go to sleep because I want to prioritize my sleep. So it's like from 8:30 to 9:30, I'll do a little reading and then watch 30 minutes of Love is Blind. And I'm like working my way through it. And I am just like so enjoying it. So that was just kind of my thought of like, try not to judge yourself for the things that bring you joy. If it's reading Harry Potter for the 10th time, if it's reality TV, whatever it is, like, honestly, I used to so think, especially my beginning of entrepreneurship, in my Beachbody days, they emphasize personal growth so much, and which was amazing. I'm so glad they did because it's become such a pillar of mine. Like I'm listening to podcasts and reading books. I still do that. Personal growth, personal development is like a priority. It's in our pre-work module for my group program because I think it's so important to establish that habit. So I still prioritize that 100%. But it got to the point where I thought like, that's all I could do anytime. That is it. If I have a free second, I am listening to personal growth. I am watching personal growth. I can't watch TV. I can't watch fun. I can't watch reality. Like, no, productivity, always improving my mind 24/7. That's exhausting. If watching 30 minutes of a reality television show every night is going to decrease my success that much, I mean, it's not. It's just not. If anything, it's actually, I got a really good quote from one of the episodes that I wrote down, and it's going to inspire a post. If anything, it's helped me connect with my audience. It's inspired content. And you just kind of got to go into it with like, what is this bringing you, right? Is it bringing you relaxation? Is it making you laugh? Is it bringing you some joy, right? That's okay. And I think we get so tied up in this entrepreneur world. Like every single thing has to be for a purpose. It's got to be for a reason. You've got to have some outcome, right? It's got to be productive. You can do something or enjoy something because you like it and it brings you joy and it's fun. It could just be that. That's it. That's the purpose, right? And that's what this has become for me. And I just wanted to share that. And then lastly is, it's so related to last week's episode, which was so crazy timely. So last week's heart to heart was how to show up on social when life is lifing. Little did I know that was going to blow up in my face the day before that episode aired. I was like, wow, I need this episode today more than anything. And when that came out, I just was like, I almost wanted to listen to my own episode again. I've listened to a couple of my own episodes because sometimes I actually need them and they help me. But in general, I really don't listen to my podcast. I just do occasionally, like Mike in my episodes, I always do because I'm like, oh, how do we sound? I'm a little nervous, especially in the beginning. I was like terrified of it, but I normally don't. But I was like, I need to listen to my own episode this week. It was so timely. And one of the things I talked about in that When Life is Lifing is the preparation, having things ahead of time. And man, I am so happy that that's how I operated, because everything that I'm dealing with now, I'm still putting a lot together. I'm still finalizing some things for the launch and all of that, but I have a lot done. And like, if my challenge was tomorrow, I'd have to do a couple things. Like I'm still working on the workbook, or we're doing a Google Doc instead of a workbook because it's more conducive to like the note taking and to the actual exercises we want people to do. So the Google Doc, I have to work on that. But besides that, like everything else is done. And that feels so good. Like I could do it tomorrow. I could do it tomorrow if I needed to. I could show up. It could be great. It would be amazing. People would get so much value. And that feels so freaking good. It feels so good to be like, that's checked off my list. And I'm only a couple weeks ahead. That's the thing. I'm not like a month ahead. I'm not 2 months. I mean, I follow some people who are like 3 months ahead of everything, and that's amazing and impressive. My mind changes too often to be that much ahead. Like a lot of what I do is based on creativity, but it's also planned a little bit, right? As far as like content goes, I like to have I know the direction it's going for the next month or so, but I like to do it the week before because a lot comes up and a lot is timely and all that for me. And I'm just so grateful that I've had some of this prepped and planned, because I don't feel as stressed as I would. I really don't. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. So I'm going to go listen to my own episode because I feel like I need it. But thank you, my friends. I know this was a little bit all over the place, but again, I love these episodes. They give me so much joy. They fill me up when I really need them most. I feel like I'm quoting a song right now. And I just thank you for being an incredible community and being that type of community I feel like I can be vulnerable with. And you will know, I will share once I'm ready to, when I have a little bit more information. But all I ask is just have my family and my dad in particular in your prayers. Just send him a little prayer. Send Papa Yelaney a prayer. He will love that. And I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next episode.